Exactly.
Like, it doesn't really matter in that regard.
So, like, Kagari getting limited might make sense. I need to see some other busted spells, because if the other spells are pretty generic, then maybe you could get away with lightning Kagari.
We'll hold off on Kagari for now. We'll hold off on Kagari.
Oh my gosh! Layers of complexity.
We'll hold off on Kagari. We'll talk about Engage. You're incorrect, because it's at 3. After being banned for several years. You are correct.
Okay.
Just messing with you.
I want to terrorize people with fucking whatchamacallit.
You actually identified it. You identified it perfectly. It is basically the modern rendition of Pot of Greed. Granted, the one card you're getting is something that is searchable in the archetype. However, it's still a 1 for 2, and it's not
Mama
once per turn like Pot of
I've
Greed.
kind of misplayed.
So it is not uncommon. Some of the most frustrating gameplay is when you go activate Engage, search your card, draw a card. Oh, look, I drew another Engage. I'm going to go ahead and fire that off. That has happened many a times, and it's been very frustrating. But yeah, this card did get banned, so you did get it correct. It's legal now at 3, but it was, for a long time, Sky Striker was touted as, like, one of the best decks. And people refuse to let this deck die. This deck actually still receives modern support, and they keep pushing the boundaries and want to make this deck continue to be playable, because Ray's a very popular character. And so it's legal now, but it was banned, so you get the point for it. Okay. You want to see more spells to evaluate Kagari, so let's go ahead and show you some more spells here. You can see what Engage gives to search.
Sky Striker Mecha Hornet
Going first is so fucking boring.
Card. Okay, she's getting more popular by the moment. Why am I reminded of, like, the gacha games where you get to dress your character?
She does have that vibe. She does have that vibe.
Yeah, okay. All the different
Fantastic Nikki or something. I forgot what it was called.
If you control no monsters in your main monster
was that game
special
even out yet?
Sky Striker Ace token. This is a Warrior Dark level 1 attack 0 defense 0 in defense position.
I'd just be helping them if I played this.
And if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard when this resolves, the token's attack defense becomes 1500 instead. Okay, we're getting a spell. This is another one without a once per turn. But it does say if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, and this puts a token monster in that zone?
It does, right? Correct. Okay. However, keep in mind, this is a Sky Striker Ace monster, so you can immediately, similar to Ray, instead of linking Ray off into one of your mechs, like Kagari, you can link off the token, as a matter of fact, because it is a material for a link summon. You can link off the token into a Kagari, hypothetically, instead. So think of it as, like, 4 through 6 copies of Ray.
Okay, I think I need a refresh on link summoning then, because I thought it had to be a link. No. What it gets is a link monster. Anything can be link summoned, but what is the requirements to be the materials for a link summon?
So all you have to do is look at, let's go back to Kagari. Kagari says 1 non-fire Sky Striker Ace monster. So as long as in the title of the card, it says
our position is so good it's not even funny.
So any Sky Striker Ace monster, which Ray and the token both meet the criteria of, you would send that to the graveyard, and then you would go into your extra deck, take out the Kagari, and place it into the extra monster zone. If it were a Link 2 monster, you would have to have 2 monsters going to the graveyard in order to play the Link 2 monster, and so forth.
Okay, I'm like, why does it say it cannot be tributed if nobody is, like, tribute summoning anyway?
That's a great question. I mean,
what's the point of that?
There have been historically some decks.
I mean, Hornet Drones is literally a free way to do to normal summon level 5s and 6. I mean, technically not free. It does.
Yeah, that helps because I was
technically
just like, what am I missing with that restriction? Because it doesn't even sound like it matters.
I will be honest, it pretty much never comes up. Yeah, you're right.
Yep, and this is a spell, and it says as a result. So does this count as one of the spells in your graveyard?
No, because it hasn't resolved yet, so the card is not in the graveyard. Yeah, so you need to have 3 other spells already in the graveyard for that to be the case.
So how important, I guess we have to look at, like, how important is it that it's a defense position, 1500, 1500? That's kind of, I mean, basically this is a piece of material that is a spell. So it's kind of cheating in the archetype by giving you more spells than you normally have, because normally this would just be on a body.
There you go.
You search up a spell with the Sky Striker Ace. You get this thing. You put this. You make another Sky Striker Ace token, and then
black is my favorite color, man.
I'm guessing
it's so good. It's so interactive. It's so fun.
If this were legal to have more, you could get more Kagari. Nope, it's a once per turn. Never mind. but you could probably use it to go get more Link monsters from your extra deck, right?
You can, because, hypothetically, if you go Hornet Drone, summon the token, you link it off into Kagari. If Kagari adds back the Hornet Drones, there's no one's return on this card. You can activate this again, make another token. Now you have 2 monsters on the field, so you can hypothetically link the Kagari and the token up into a Link 2.
Okay, and is there a Link that gets it back again? Like, are there like 5 versions of Kagari so that now you have a full board
I guess we
off
should
one
just
card?
go for this
You will
now.
find out shortly.
Oh, that's a yes. So that's the thing. Then having one of these is still that bad. Having one Sky Striker Ace Kagari is still that bad, unless they're going to ban the spells. Man, that seems weak to ban the spells and just leave these cards in the extra deck.
They could restrict them.
I mean, if you restrict this card, there's still tutors to go get it.
There are, but there's less copies of it around. So
yeah, but then you also get it back. Like, I don't know if that fixes it.
You have to think about it from the perspective of, if it's limited to a singular copy, you have a less likely chance of having it in your opening hand, let's say. So then you have to, like, use Engage to go find, like, this particular card. It matters, like, from a consistency perspective. Yeah, it's still available, but consistency-wise, it's not going to be as nearly redundant, I guess, is, like, the best way to look at it.
But as we've also talked about, do you really want your games coming down to who drew their one-of copy? It feels even worse.
That's a fair point. Right? That's a fair point, yeah.
I feel a little silly, because I still don't feel like I have absolutely all the information I need, but if this spell, the Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones, if there are ways to fetch it and get it back, and it can chain thing into thing into thing into thing, it feels like you have to break the chain. So how do you break the chain? Restricting it doesn't look like it's
almost.
The job. Because, like I said, you can just fetch this, or it's the nastiest if you have it in your opener. It's like, then do you ban a card that would just sit in the extra deck that keeps that chain going?
You tell us?
I'm in a tough spot. I'm definitely sure they tried restricting them. It feels like they would try restricting them. You guys are going to laugh at me. My gut is telling me I still am not in a position to figure out if either one gets banned. I think the Sky Striker Ace Kagari is an exciting card. You love the people love gains 100 attack for each spell in your graveyard.
Yeah.
They love, like, going through the motion of building a pot of greed back in their
graveyard, actually.
Yeah. I mean, they love that too. But, the way that this thing just kind of can throw that big haymaker punch is very exciting, you know? Yeah, I can definitely tell this is a card that people will love. And then it's like, do you enable that card by restricting the things that let you chain off? That just feels... like, this might sound stupid depending on how the rest of this video goes. That sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh to me. Like, okay. That sounds like a lot of other Yu-Gi-Oh to me. Okay. So I'm not ready to say either of these got banned. Maybe I should. I'm definitely, if I had to pick one, if you told me one was banned, I would pick the Hornet Drones. But right now I'm going to say neither.
You're talking about Hornet Drones and Kagari specifically.
Yeah, I'm going to say restricted probably did that, but not banned.
So you think they both got restricted?
I think Hornet Drone... yeah, I think they both did.
You are correct, as a matter of fact, CGB. You got it. So they did restrict both of these cards. So let me give you some context here. So what's interesting about the Sky Striker cards, obviously Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an archetype-centric game, where you guys have colors, we have archetypes. So, like, you see a Sky Striker card for a Sky Striker deck, you automatically want to, think about including it in your deck, because it has a lot of natural synergy. However... what's interesting about the Sky Striker package specifically, and this is with Engage, Hornet Drones, and a few other cards you're going to see here shortly, is that you can package them as a small
I'm gonna die if I don't go all out.
in other decks that are not Sky Striker decks, because getting to just draw cards off Engage is crazy for any deck, right? And aside from just, like, there's no real reason, like, if your deck can afford to play these cards, there's no reason not to play them. People even nowadays still look to this engine as something they can put in their deck, because the fact that Engage lets you draw cards is crazy. Hornet Drones is very good because, like I said, being able to go Hornet Drones, play a token, link it off into Kagari, get back the Hornet Drone, summon it again, being able to have a one card into a Link 2 monster is very good in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, just getting that free material off of a single interaction is very good in our game. So as a result, they actually ended up limiting Hornet drones just to remove some of that like redundancy and consistency for not even just Sky Striker decks, but like other archetypes in general. And then we get to Kagari. Kagari being able to recur any spell card, as you've figured out, is batshit crazy in this archetype because, again, you have basically Pot of Greed. And there's all the other cards that Kagari can add back that you have yet to see. So they ended up restricting it as a result. I believe it might be at 3 now. I think it is. So it's back at 3, but for a long time it was actually restricted to a singular copy because it was just too good. It was just the recursion on being able to get back Pot of Greed. You can't really beat it. So I'm impressed. You got both of them being restricted. Good job.
I am blown away. This might be the most niche called shot I've ever got right.
But you got it right. Let's show you your next spell card. God. Let's keep on with the spells before we go back to the mechs, because I think that'll help you give some context here.
Sky Striker Mecha. Widow Anchor? Window Anchor? What am I talking about? Yep. Widow Anchor. What is a Widow Anchor?
You're about to find out.
If you control no monsters in the monster zone, target one face-up effect monster on the field. Negate that face-up monster's effects until the end of this turn. Then, if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can take control of that monster until the end. I thought it would say destroy it. I was ready for like banish or something, but no. We call it yoinking in Magic. Yoink it.
Yoink it.
Okay, you can search this up, huh? That's convenient. That's
also
nice.
Keep in mind it's a quick play spell, so you can use this at instant speed.
I bet this is really fun to play around. You know?
It actually is. I'm not gonna lie.
You're not even being like LOL about that. You're
I'm being serious. Like I actually think this is like a very interesting card. Yeah.
Negate its effects until the end of this turn, and then if you have 3 or more spells, which is easy, you can take control of it. Wow.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's a really good card. That would be really good in Magic, even at like 3 or 4 mana. That probably 4 mana would be too much.
And in our game, it's free.
And in your game, it's free.
I need
you can't have any monsters. Apparently, that's easy mode. I bet the whole deck just doesn't put anything into the main monster zone except when you steal something.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the Hornet drones will put a token there, but Widow Anchor, when it steals stuff, it does go to the main monster zone. So that is like the only way. Interesting, I should let you know mechanically. Let's say your opponent has 2 monsters, and you have no monsters in the main monster zone. You can activate Widow Anchor, target a monster to take it, and then you can chain and put on the stack a second Widow Anchor to target the other one, and then you can take both. Because since you don't, at the point of activation, control anything in the main monster zone, you're allowed to chain these together to steal multiple things. Because on resolution, then you will have them in the main monster zone. So you can't go like one, steal something, then play the other, steal something else. You can chain them together because it's a quick play spell.
Okay.
I feel like that's relevant for you to know, so I want you to know mechanically that works.
I appreciate that. Let's talk some more mechanics. If the opponent is attacking you, can you steal something and then have it block or put it in defense position, or do you get anything like that?
Yes. So let's say your opponent has 2 monsters. They declare an attack with 1. You activate Widow Anchor to steal the other one. What happens at that point is a replay occurs, as we call it. So since the amount of monsters on the player's field changed, the opponent can choose to redeclare an attack with that same monster, or they can choose to just not attack at all at that point. So you can use this to like block your life points potentially.
Also,
I hate when these are trapped at the bottom,
you can't like blow them out by stealing something bigger that they accidentally run into.
No, because like
kind of works.
No, there's not like it won't like the attack doesn't keep going and then they'll attack the monster. No, they get to choose if they want to attack again.
Still, it's like the tempo of that is really strong.
Potentially, yeah.
What else do you get by just stealing something? What else can you use it?
Work those brain muscles. I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away too easily, but there are other things you can do with this card.
I mean, if it's the mirror, you can use it to link summon stuff.
You are
just leave something
correct.
out.
That is very true. So hypothetically, let's say your opponent has a Link 2 or Link 3 monster on the field. You can Widow Anchor, steal it, and if you have another monster, let's say you have like a Kagari or something in your extra monster zone, you can use the Link 1 Kagari and the Link 3, let's say, monster, and you can go into a Link 4, and now they don't get the monster back at the end of the turn because it goes to their graveyard.
Yeah, that seemed pretty good. It's another way to have materials with more spells density in your deck.
Correct.
Instead monsters. Okay. Yep. That seems like a really good card.
There's a lot of cool tricks you can do with Widow Anchor. That's why I said it's a very interesting card.
And I'm supposed to say if it got banned or restricted?
Correct.
Did they have to? I don't think you ban it.
Okay.
It just doesn't feel like... It feels like this is reliable, solid interaction type thing. I can see how it can be annoying, but also, like, you've got to interact somehow. And it's not like it just negates and banishes the thing. They have a chance to get it back. You have to set up your thing. This doesn't feel totally bannable to me. It is pretty cool to just take their thing and smash them with it, but they can play around it.
You can just take something and attack them with it, yeah, like that, because we don't have summoning sickness. So, like, if it's your turn, you want to proactively steal something to hit them in the face, like, you're totally allowed to do that.
Those cards exist in Magic, though, and almost never need to get banned.
Okay.
Almost. I don't know if they've ever been banned. This doesn't strike me as a ban. I'm sure that some people have called for it to be banned when they feel like they're blue eyes or whatever.
Well, you can't. Funny enough, you can't actually steal a blue eyes because a blue eyes is not an effect monster.
Oh, then this never got banned. Obviously, the blue eyes Timmies aren't complaining. This card is fine. There's no questions. Yeah, did it get restricted? I mean, it doesn't have any once per turn on it.
You are noticing a trend with this deck.
Yeah. If you can recur this again and again and steal a whole board, that's much more brutal. Because then if they pass with a board, you just win. If we are restricting some of the other tutor cards, but maybe there are other ways to go get this in the deck still, that's where, like, casting this over and over might be problematic. And maybe it is like having two of these is just insane. Are we going to go with this got restricted?
Are you going to?
So far what you've shown me, we've got an unrestricted Sky Striker Ace. Let me revisit this card really quick. While this is in your graveyard, face-up Link monster you just destroyed, you can opponent's card effect. You can special summon this card once per turn. You can tribute this card, special summon one Ace monster. So we know that Kagari is restricted, and that can go get one of these spells. We know that Engage got banned. I guess while Engage was legal, though, you could just keep doing this.
You could.
Awesome.
Yep.
I'm torn on this one. I am torn on this one.
Okay. I think this is a tough one.
It feels like there are options to get around it. If this got restricted, I guess I could buy it. But I'm thinking that the pieces around it that make it possible to play and replay and overplay this is probably a worse issue. I'm going to go with this one is not banned or restricted.
Your first wrong choice of the video. Widow Anchor was restricted alongside everything else you've seen thus far, and of course Engage getting banned. So, this one's a bit questionable, I will say. This card I wouldn't say was, like, giga oppressive, but having multiple copies, like, doing the tricks that I was telling you about, can be very annoying. And you haven't seen the full suite of cards yet, and when you do, you might realize, like, okay, like, I can see why they would limit Widow Anchor as a result of, like, some of the rest of these cards. There's other cool tricks you can do with Widow Anchor that I will get to probably later when we get to some of the other cards, but I think this is like a very well-designed card for what it's worth, because you do, again, have to have no stuff in the main monster zone. Being able to steal stuff is really good, and it's just, like, there's a lot of cool tricks you can do with this card. I wouldn't say it's, like, the most unique card to Yu-Gi-Oh!, but I think it just, like, has so much application that I love the design of it. So, it got restricted.
What kind of a friend doesn't show me absolutely every bit of context I need to make?
Yeah, I'm going to show you all 40 billion cards at once, and then you figure it out. Anyway, here's your next one.
Sky Striker Mecha Modules. Multi-roll. I can tell I hate this already.
Just wait till you read it.
Once per turn, you can target one other card you control. Send that card to the graveyard. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to your spell card activations for the rest of the turn, even if this card leaves the field. Okay, busted.
You're only halfway through.
You know, I mean, I'm trying to remember. Did I show you Silence in a video, or was that from us playing Magic?
No, I think you showed me Silence in a video. You showed me Silence in a video.
Yeah. You were like, that's busted. That would be busted in Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, there you go.
It's just for spell cards. It's just spell cards.
I mean, I guess.
The whole deck is built
draw
around spell
that somehow,
cards, you know?
rather than just look at it.
Mirror, that was fun.
Oh, don't get me started.
You can only gain the previous effect once per turn. Once per turn, during the end phase, you can set Sky Striker spells with different names from your graveyard up to the number of Sky Striker spell cards you activated this turn while this card was face up on your field, but banish them until they leave the field. Oh! Magic, we call that Underworld Breach. You get to play all your whole graveyard again.
Yeah, exactly! You need more Pot of Greens? Here you go!
Wow. It's like they just... And this is a continuous spell.
This is a continuous spell, so not only does this apply on your turn, if you use stuff on your opponent's turn, multi-roll triggers during the end phase.
Oh my god.
Because it says the end phase, not your end phase. So if you, hypothetically, Widow Anchor an opponent's monster, at the end of the turn, you can get that Widow Anchor right back for your next turn.
Oh my god.
I told you you'd like this deck.
I mean, do I? This feels toxic. This feels messed up. I mean, we talked about earlier, where like,
Is this a super hyper
aggro
deck?
Drew their Hornet drones.
Are there any adjustments we can make?
Like who tutored up or drew their multi-roll, which from the density of like tutors I'm seeing,
feel like
Dark
Whip could be replaced, you know.
Nice. I already want to ban it, so what would stop me?
I will say, we haven't got to it yet, there is a card and cards in this archetype that can
Dark
actually
Whip
destroy the
too much.
So, if you're talking about the mirror match,
Jealousy more than enough on its own alongside.
Those would have to have a lot of other words on them too, though, to still be proactive and fit correctly in decks like this. And I'm sure they do. I don't think I'll be as surprised as you think I will.
Done all sorts of builds. I've seen other builds.
The bar's too high now. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't doubt that there are answers, and I know that hand traps are
also at her best.
So
there are also just spell cards in the game that just say target a spell or trap and destroy it. So that's like also a thing. But in this case, it's like you just play them again. You just play them again. If it's not, you have to get it back, or if it's restricted, there's only one copy. It's a lot harder to play again. Like so, there's stuff going on. But if they blow up multi-roll and it's not restricted or banned, you just get another one and then you play another multi-roll. You can, however, it loses track of how many cards you've activated in a turn if you play another one, hypothetically. So, like, if you play multi-roll, yeah. So if you play a multi-roll, because it says you can set Sky Striker spells with different names.
But that matchup was very evenly matched.
While this card was face up on your field. So basically you have to play multi-roll first, then play all your Sky Striker spells, then you get them back during the end phase. So at any point, if I have a quick effect or an instant speed effect that destroys multi-roll, even if you have a second multi-roll, it doesn't have the tracking of how many spells you played that turn because the new copy wasn't on the field to see that, if that makes sense. It still feels like you have to have the perfect answer at the right time, or this thing might just blow the game wide open. Or Yu-Gi-Oh's just that crazy that this card is fine. There's that option too. You just play 3 spells and then you, just cast them all again? In Magic, we have Underworld Breach. Underworld Breach also, comes down, it's on the battlefield. You escape your first spell, out of your graveyard. The opponent can respond by killing the Underworld Breach. In that case, you could respond with instant, quick effect spells. Can you do that here? Yes, you can. Yep. So, during the end phase, multi-roll will activate. If you have a quick effect, a card that destroys a spell or trap, you destroy multi-roll, and then it doesn't resolve because it's no longer on the field. It is spell limited, but that doesn't seem like a problem for this deck. Oh my gosh. Also, target one other card you control. How easy is that? Let's go back to Ray. Oh, it's easy. Are you figuring out the synergy here? I mean, yeah. It's kind of right there, isn't it? You won't have trouble sending it to the graveyard and getting it back again. Mm-hmm. And then when you do that, you go and get your Kagari, who can set this up. To happen again. Yep. Now you know what? You're starting to see why Kagari got limited now. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is so brutal. Did this have to be banned? It seems... So, I get that you can have more answers in it than they have this card, but it again leads to these situations where they just have this and then it runs away with the game.
When you need that push, the world gives you signs to go.
Should have checked. Yeah, fuck. Nobody's home.
And then it runs away with the game.
You have to keep in mind too. We also just have cards in our game that destroy all spell and traps like on the field. So like even if they get back like 4 cards off of it, remember if it's like during your end phase, unless they're quick effects or quick play spells, they can't use them until the next turn. So if you get engaged, you have to wait a full turn to actually like fire off that engage again. So if your opponent has a way to like wipe your whole spell and trap back row, then it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So like we do have stuff like that.
Yeah, I have trouble seeing those getting. Those feel like niche play, but
okay, I was just saying that that's a thing. I'm just saying that that's a thing.
Like I don't know. It seems like Yu-Gi-Oh, a game that has to stay mostly proactive with the few reactions being things that keep people from comboing.
Okay.
And I think if you're holding something that you have to play on your turn that blows up a back row in a format where spells and traps are generally slow, that doesn't sound
spells
great.
No, traps know. Yes.
Yeah, spells, okay. I mean, it still feels like you're going to respond to that. Am I crazy? Like, you still get value out of it. I don't know. That doesn't sound great. Maybe I'm losing it.
Maybe.
But this thing seems, like, pretty busted to me.
So it's bad?
Lock you out of a turn, get a bunch of stuff back, and access to it all the time. It has all the red flags to me.
It does. It does have a lot of red flags.
And you're being all like, well, you can answer it. Just because something can be answered doesn't mean that it's not.
I agree.
Dice
of Doomblade, right? Dice of Doomblade argument.
Having the right answer is a cost. Is a deck building cost. Is an opportunity cost.
You have to remember, though, in Yu-Gi-Oh, we have the extra deck, and so we effectively have a 15-card command zone that's a Swiss Army knife of options to deal with like any particular card. So, like in the extra deck, we might have cards specifically that say, like, target a spell or trap card on the field and destroy it, so that we have access to it at any moment, and we don't have to draw that option. So, while the, like, Dice of Doomblade argument's definitely something to consider the fact that, you know, it would be like in Magic if you could access your sideboard at any moment to, like, take, like, a perfect option for, like, a situation to, like, contend with it.
If you're trying to get me off the band argument, you're definitely making a good effort. And
I'm giving you content.
You're really jumping through hoops.
I think it's something to consider because the extra deck is such a unique mechanic for Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically that I think sometimes like people might overlook that fact, right? So that I just want to give you that as a counter argument potentially.
You're implying the extra deck can deal with this.
There is plenty of cards in the extra deck that people can play that are generic and can remove spell and traps.
Typically, the extra deck is...
I'll even show you. You know what?
Half of it is
for fun. I will even show you just so you see how
important archetype pieces, while the other half...
take a look at this card.
Or just generic support that you have access to at any time to deal with whatever bullshit the opponent might try to go at you.
Names. If this is link summoned, you can discard one card, then target spell or trap card, destroy it. Then, if this card was co-linked, when this effect was activated, you can draw one card. Okay. And then you can also use this once per turn.
Yeah. So, like, every extra deck
cannot be destroyed. Yeah, that's a lot of text.
Yeah, so, like, I mean, the first part's the most relevant part here, but, like, every extra deck, especially during the time that Sky Striker was, like, in its prime, was playing Nightmare Phoenix. So, like, every deck had this option that if, like, a multi-roll hit the field, oh, I need to make a Nightmare Phoenix to destroy that, and, like, that's always an option you have. So just to give you an idea.
So was this fine at 3 because setting up and going for it and then having Nightmare Phoenix hit it kept it in check?
Potentially.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so you still think it's bad?
I could see the case for restricting it now.
Okay.
Like, if you can shut it down once and then they get it back with their one-of copy of Kagari, and you try it again, and maybe it goes off this time, but it's basically you got time-locked by the Nightmare Phoenix, didn't answer it, like, and now you're behind?
Yeah.
I can see that now. That makes more sense to me. So, you know what? If this was banned after all this that you've been, all the, like, context you provided, you should feel, like, bad about just trying to, like, sideswipe my gut reaction. I'll go with it was restricted.
Final answer?
Yeah.
You actually listened to me, and you were rewarded because you were correct. It did get restricted.
Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
You're
I was talking you off for a second. It's funny because I was talking you out of it being banned, but I was wondering if the mind games you would just still think that I was trying to bait you. No, multi-roll did get restricted.
What a
Rightfully so,
fucking
because
hand.
just, again, the recursion is so strong on this card. I believe it's probably at 3 now, because like a lot of the Sky Striker stuff's back at 3, because this set came out around like 2017, 2018, so it's like 7 years old at the time of recording this. And like I said, the deck continues to get more support, but in terms of like power creep, the game has just like far exceeded Sky Striker's potential. Although there are still people that play the deck because like that keeps getting more support, and the new support continues to be very good because people love the deck so much. But it's just like in terms of like it's not a tier 1 contender by any means. It's just a deck that people really like, so they'll play it for fun. But yep, you got it correct. Good job. Alrighty, here is your next card.
Sky Striker Airspace Area 0. Spell, like many things, you can target one other card you control. Excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. If you do,
that reveals, like, you look at the top 3, and you show them to your opponent as well.
You don't mill them?
You don't mill them. They're in kind of like a void, and you'll understand why when you read the rest of the text.
Excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can add one excavated Sky Striker card to your hand. Also shuffle the rest into the deck. Then, if you excavated a Sky Striker card, send the targeted card to the graveyard. Okay, one other... Oh, yeah, but you started by targeting a different card.
Correct. So only if you actually got a Sky Striker card do you send the card to the graveyard. If you whiff, it doesn't send the card.
If this card in the field zone is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special summon one Sky Striker Ace monster from your deck. You can only use each effect of Sky Striker Airspace Area 0 once per turn. So, the glue that holds all this together, our gal Ray, probably takes another one for the team. And then what? We get a Sky Striker Ace monster from our deck. So we need something that isn't in the extra deck in this sense.
Right, so Ray, for the most part.
Okay. Yep. Wait, so we bin Ray, and then go get another Ray.
You can bin other cards, because it puts more spells in the graveyard for you to get to engage activation.
Sure.
You can also, I guess I'll tell you this, there's a very fun trick you can do. So, you have Area 0 and Ray face up. You can activate Area 0 to target Ray, and you can chain Ray's effect as Chain Link 2 on the stack to tag her out into a mech like Kagari. And then Area 0 still resolves all the way. So you still look at the top 3. If you get a Sky Striker card, you add it to your hand. But it says send the targeted card to the graveyard. You already sent Ray to the graveyard for her effect, so like it's basically free.
Yeah, and then you can just special summon a Sky Striker Ace monster from your deck.
That's only if this gets destroyed.
If this gets destroyed, the
Area 0 gets destroyed.
The spell?
Correct.
If this is in the field zone sent to the... Oh, okay. It's this item.
For a bit of a reminder, Field Zone is a specific zone on the board that's like only for these types of cards, but it's basically it's like a continuous spell, but it has just like a different classification. So it stays out active until something interacts with it to remove it from the field. So it's like an enchantment in that sense.
It says you can only use it once a turn, but I mean it does seem to imply here that on the next turn you could use a Sky Striker Airspace Area 0 to target another Sky Striker Airspace Area 0.
You can only have one field spell, so you can't target another Area 0 with it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You can, if you want a bit of context. You remember our good old card multi-roll from before. You can target another card you control, send it to the graveyard. Now all your spells are basically uncounterable. Area 0 then triggers, because it was sent from the field to the graveyard by a card effect, so you can get Ray immediately from your deck, and you can start doing the fun stuff.
Good God. All right, well, that's a solid consistency enabling spell right there.
Yeah.
It's a good old... It's a ponder with upside in Magic terms, and that would be way too good. Is it too good for Yu-Gi-Oh?
Is it too good for Yu-Gi-Oh? What a great question.
Is it too good for Yu-Gi-Oh? It seems, it honestly just feels like another consistency piece that is like, I'm trying to
Is it crazy, like, how consistent Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks are, like, when you're reading this card?
Yes. Yes, it's honestly nauseating. It's like, you guys really just like doing the same thing over and over and over and over, don't you? I mean, I feel like in Magic, we actually have to work for it.
I will say, I think that's like a signature like
work for it,
Yu-Gi-Oh! Though,
or is the game
decks,
just
not all
sacky?
decks, but a lot of decks are very consistent.
Let me tell you, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still
yes,
very
that may
sacky.
sound boring because you're like executing
But
the
I
same
feel
plan
like
over and over again.
from what I've seen,
it's good in the fact
whenever
that you,
you
like
play
like
Magic, it's a very sacky game that's
every card,
practically decided by who gets to mulligan
and
the
so
least.
they all function differently, sure. But a lot of people like the fact that, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a hyper-consistent game and that you can do your game plan. So now it's like, is your game plan good enough to stand up to your opponent's game plan? Because you're removing that variance.
And this is why you have a very, very devoted audience.
I think so.
Because it's some people who just really like doing this every game.
Yep.
Every time. Mm-hmm. Every time. This feels like a very good consistency card. I'm trying to it's a tough one for whether or not a card like this needs to be restricted, because it is definitely a button they could push if the deck itself is too powerful.
Sure.
Some people might look at the way I play Mugen and think I'm playing her wrong.
To half this other deck.
So. I'm just taking advantage of every resource Mugen has access to that everyone else seemingly refuses to play.
Sure.
The only resource I'm not actually taking advantage of are my Exceed costs.
Not restricted.
But like,
correct. They never touched this card. This card's totally fine. Yep, it's a good consistency piece. Sometimes you whiff, and that's just the way the game goes. But being able to like send it off of, like I said, off of multi-roll to be able to get yourself a Ray, and then all your spells are basically uncounterable. That was a very common move with this card. There's also cards, like I said, that there's spell cards that just say target a spell or trap card you control, or target a spell or trap card anywhere and destroy it. People would just go play Area Zero, play the thing to pop my own Area Zero just so I can get to Ray, just to add to the consistency of the deck. So you have the flexibility to pop your opponent's stuff, but you can also pop your own stuff just to make sure that your game plan is executed. But yeah, this card was totally fine.
Hanging in there.
Got a few more spells, and then we'll get to the mechs. And so, here we go.
Sky Striker Maneuver Afterburners. Pew! Spell card. This is, just really exciting. Here we go. Hit the button. Hit the gas. If you control no monsters, we've seen this, target one face-up monster on the field, destroy it. Then, if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can destroy 1 spell or trap on the field. Okay, this was kind of the removal I was looking for earlier.
Yeah, I was trying to look for you.
And it turned out to be the yoink effect. So, very easy to meet. Yep, very easy to meet the requirement. And also get a 2-for-1 out of it, which is pretty awesome in this case.
This also does, in the mirror match, you were asking, this is a way to destroy your opponent's multi-roll, for example.
Yep. It also can destroy your own Area Zero.
It can, because it's any spell or trap card on the field.
I have trouble seeing them restrict a good removal spell. It's pushed. I mean, the fact that you can get a 2-for-1 out of it is good, but everything else is getting value. So I don't feel like getting a 2-for-1 from what's happening on the field is nearly as powerful as just drawing more cards in this game.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, fine is relative. I'm sure people got annoyed as hell by this card if everything's as consistent and brutal as it looks. But yeah, let's just keep this card at 3 copies.
What about this card?
Jamming Waves. If you control no monsters. They just keep doing this. They think we're going to make a mistake. Okay, where's the card that just puts an indestructible monster in their monster zone and shuts down their deck? That's what I wanted.
They're actually, remember the kaijus? I told you about the cards you tribute over your opponent's monster to, like, give them a thing. That is a way that people completely screwed this deck over, because if you kaiju over their mech, then that goes in the main monster zone, so it shuts off, like, the Widow Anchors. It shuts everything off because they have something in the main monster zone now. So it's very funny that you say that.
Perfect. I already solved the meta.
You did?
Target 1 set spell trap on the field, destroy it. Then if you have 3 or more, you can destroy 1 monster on the field. It's very similar. It's the fact that you can have 3 of each of these is probably brutal, but it's still...
you can search them with Engage, remember that.
I know, but it's still just removal.
Okay.
It's just removal.
Okay.
And Afterburners has to be better because monsters are more common, but I mean, all you need is spells in the graveyard and you just do both every time.
Look at you.
I'm hanging. I'm hanging in there.
You are. So you think both of these are fine?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if by like meta development that they actually cut a few of these and ran less intentionally because it was just too much reactive effect and not a proactive effect.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with these are fine.
You are 100% correct. Afterburners was typically played as a one-of in the decks, just like if you needed it, you could search it with Engage because the deck was so accessible. Jamming Waves sometimes saw play in the main deck as one-of, but typically it was sided as a one-of because Spell and Traps are a lot harder to interact with, or not harder to interact with, but a lot of decks aren't playing as many Spell or Traps in their back row, depending on what type of deck that you're playing. So in the instance of you playing a matchup where the back row mattered, let's say the mirror match as an example, you would maybe side deck a copy of Jamming Waves in for games 2 and 3. But you were correct, like 100%. Afterburners is the better card, and Jamming Waves was second to that. All right, let's keep going.
You're right. I am starting to like the deck just a little.
I knew it. I knew it.
Oh crap! Oh my god! Shark Cannon. Shark Cannon? Oh my goodness. Okay, this is sweet. I don't know if I've told you about a certain card in Magic that also has my heart, but it might be related to sharks. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it. Or if you have 3 or more spells, you can special summon that monster to the field, but it cannot attack ever.
Ever.
Well, that's cool.
Cool card.
Is this quick play?
It is quick play. It has a light.
So you can you respond to them getting stuff out of their graveyard.
Yes, you can.
That's good interaction.
That is good interaction. This is a very
really good interaction.
Very cool card. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah! So did they have to cut back on it because it was too good?
Because remember, if you take your opponent's stuff out of the graveyard, you can like link off with it. You can do any matter of nonsense with it. So I mean, similar to Widow Anchor, it does have that angle to it.
And if you don't have the 3 spells yet, you can just play it and banish something from their graveyard.
Yep, which is quick effect. So like if they go play a card to resurrect a monster, you can chain Shark Cannon to Chain Link 2 and just banish it so that the resurrection spell doesn't work.
Yeah, that's probably a very relative card. Depending how many of these spells, like it could be a 1-of to tutor for, or it could be a 3-of to disrupt. And yeah, getting it on the field is, again, a kind of a free piece of link material at worst.
It is. Yep.
Oh man, that's nice. Did something like that have to be restricted? You showed me a lot of cards.
Searchable with Engage.
You showed me a lot of cards that can pull stuff out of the graveyards.
I have.
Turned out to be
graveyard-centric game.
Yeah, that turned out to be banned or restricted too. It's hard for me to gauge how relevant the cannot attack part is. I don't think I've seen that before on a Yu-Gi-Oh card. It seems new.
There's some cards that have it. It's not like super common, but that's compared to something like Widow Anchor, right? You can't just like smack your opponent with it whatever you steal. So I think they put it on there for the reason that you're kind of figuring out, where it's like you want to use it for like link material or something else.
Okay, so they restricted the Widow Anchor, and this was one where you could kind of see, like, if you cast multiple of these in a turn and the game is just kind of over, could be very bad. So is this one where you just cast multiples? The fact that it cannot attack, that means the game's not over.
Well, again, if you just take something and then link it off into something else, now that thing can attack. So, like, it's kind of an easy way to work around that restriction.
True.
They make you do a little bit of work.
This one's tricky.
Because
I could see in Yu-Gi-Oh! And the whole Graveyard Reanimator vibes that you guys have that they might want to restrict this. There's no once per turn like usual, so you could go full Grave Robber with this thing.
You can. Yeah, you could go Shark Cannon, chain Shark Cannon, chain Shark Cannon, take 3 of your opponent's things.
And get it back,
and just Kagari it back. Yep,
Kagari it back. That's nice. We like those. At that point, what had to happen there? The opponent filled their graveyard with monster cards, not spell cards, which this is a lot of spell cards. They left them
not
in
ideal.
that graveyard, basically waiting for this to happen. Feels like there'd be a little more control over that, especially with all the cards I've seen in Yu-Gi-Oh!, but maybe not as much in this archetype. It doesn't seem to be... Yeah. And again, when something from the extra deck dies, where does it go?
To the graveyard.
Okay, it does go to the graveyard. I'm trying to think of what went to a different zone when it...
Pendulum Monsters.
Summoning, I think?
Pendulum Monsters, too.
That's right. Okay, so you can get their extra deck monsters with this.
You can.
So it's not like they don't have access to many monsters, but it cannot attack. Just looking over these again of like, what are we... all these things seem to have extra effects. You get their Sky Striker Ace Kagari, then you get this back and you play it again, and it's, oh, jeez. Does seem like a bit of a wrestling match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one I could see being restricted, but I'm just not sure. There is a cost to just playing a bunch of these, not in the mirror. Obviously, in the mirror, like, you're just going off and disrupting them is very important. But it does feel like in other matchups, that said, you said every deck uses the graveyard.
Pretty much.
In Yu-Gi-Oh!
Very few don't, I'll say.
Yeah, it does seem really good to just flip this and always be able to nerf an effect from the graveyard.
And you can multi-roll it back?
In Magic, I would say there's no way this is restricted.
Okay.
So this one's a tougher one for me.
Okay.
But I'll take a shot on this one, especially comparing it to the Widow Anchor. I can see similar play patterns, so I'm going to go with restricting. They restricted the Shark Cannon.
You are incorrect, CGB. This card is
Damn it.
totally fine at 3. I think it's just because it's graveyard-based, it's a bit more limiting, where like Widow Anchor is so much better because it actually affects the board. And people wouldn't really like max out on Shark Cannon. Like they might play like 1, maybe 2, depending on the circumstances.
That might be the game.
That's what I was thinking. I was over-indexing probably based on all the other stuff I've seen and thinking of cards like Abyss Dweller and yeah. I think I was just over-indexing on the graveyard.
You have to consider too. You have in the world where Engage is still legal, you have 3 copies of Engage. So it's like theoretically, it's like you have 4 copies of Shark Cannon because you can like always access it if you need to. Right? And so a lot of these types of cards, like, they're typically played as a one-of, just because if you need them, you search them, and it's not too difficult to actually access them. So, incorrect
for once we have a lot of white.
Fine, we have only...
Can I clarify something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you said in the world where you have Engage. In the Tier Limits and, like, the Dragon deck, they went through waves of bans. Did this only go through, like, one wave?
It went through multiple waves. I think they hit Kagari first, if I recall, and then they hit some of the other cards, and then Engage got banned later, and then I think that's also when they limited. I think they also limited like multi-roll around that point as well. But yeah, so they left Engage at 3 for a while, and they limited Kagari to like make it so it wasn't as nearly as recursive. And so, yeah, that was the way that we played the deck, but it was still good.
That's still crazy that Engage was... Okay.
Okay.
I'm sure there was a reaction to that.
Okay, business-minded Konami. Engage was the chase card of the set. It was printed in, and it was like $100 a copy. So I think that was part of the reason why... I think that was part of the reason why it did not get banned as quickly as it did. Okay, we got only... I'm just going to show you one more spell, and then we'll show you the mechs, and we'll wrap it up from there. So here's your last spell.
Sky Striker Mecha Eagle Booster. This says, if the usual, target one face-up monster on the field. That target is unaffected by card effects this turn, except its own. And if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, it cannot be destroyed by battle. Target one face-up monster on the field. That target is unaffected by card effects this turn, except its own.
Yep, so basically...
there's like, got to be something with that. And it can't be destroyed by battle.
You can't still kaiju over it, though. It's very funny.
You can kaiju over it?
Yeah, because the act of, like, tribute summoning an opponent's monster is not a card effect. It's like a summoning condition. So it plays around things that are unaffected by card effects.
I'm so confused.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
If I showed you the card, it would make more sense.
There it is. Unaffected by card effects this turn, except its own. And if you have 3 or more spells, it cannot be destroyed by battle. So this is... You want to target a monster that's in a different zone because you have none in your monster zone. And then the opponent... Does this mean they just can't kill you? Because they can't get through this one thing?
Yeah, I mean, you can still take battle damage. So, like, if you attack something... Let's look at Kagari, right? Kagari is 15... Let's say there's no spells in the grave. So Kagari is 1,500. If you Eagle Booster Kagari... if I had a Blue Eyes White Dragon with 3,000 attack, I can still attack Kagari and deal 1,500 damage to you, but I won't kill the Kagari.
Even if it's in defense position?
Well, Kagari can't... funny enough, Link monsters cannot go to defense position. They can only be in attack position.
Oh, at all. That's right. They have no defense.
They have no defense.
And it has to be face up. So, essentially, they're saying something lives another turn.
Yep, it just, like I said, it makes you basically immortal for a turn.
And you are hard to kill.
Mm.
Yep. Harder to kill.
Yeah, because it's everything in our game theoretically has taunt. Like if you were to Eagle Booster Kagari again, let's say, then you could have 5 monsters on your field, but you can't kill the Kagari in battle. You can only just deal a bunch of damage to me.
Dude, I don't know. I'm looking for the combo with this card with something I've already seen, and I'm like,
maybe there isn't one. Maybe it's just a value piece.
How good is it? I'm not seeing like insane stats either. I'm not seeing like something that's like 3,000, something that's hard to get over.
It's not gonna be bad too.
Like, sure, it's in a really good deck, but you're showing me a bad card.
Hey, good decks have bad cards all the time.
I mean, I see the value of tutoring it up, right? Because it's like it can get you another turn, but it feels like it's just fine at 1. Let me think about it. Again, no once per turn, so you could play it on. You could tutor it up, play it, and then play another one, or maybe tutor it up again somehow and play it on another thing. Is that a problem? This doesn't seem like it's a pretty unassuming card on the face of it.
Maybe it's fine.
Then you're gonna say something you may have.
I would never do that.
What is it? What is it? What's the thing? I'm also looking at this line of the target is unaffected by card effects except its own. And I'm like, there must be like a combo I'm not getting.
Okay.
It feels like it. It just feels like it. Yeah, it's probably something that you'll show me afterwards. I wouldn't be surprised if they. Okay, would I be surprised if they restricted this? Would you run 3 of this? It seems too niche. It seems too situational. Like, what are you doing if you have multiples of this? Maybe you can protect multiple monsters, but wait, how many places do you get to put in the?
There's only one extra monster.
Go. It's only 1.
Yep.
So it's almost has a once per turn on it in a way.
In a way, sure.
Because you can't have any monsters in your main monster zone. Yeah, I mean, thinking of, well, if you have this card, maybe your thing survives 3 turns in a row, but you still have to watch out for quick effect. Yeah, I mean, I could get this being like a tutor target, but this seems fine. Am I missing? If it got restricted, I'll be very surprised. I'm going to say this is fine.
Something you may have missed, CGB, is that Eagle Booster, alongside a lot of the other cards you've seen, isn't specific to the Sky Striker archetype. So, hypothetically, you can Eagle Booster any of your monsters, assuming they're in the extra monster zone. Which means you don't have to necessarily Eagle Booster a Sky Striker monster. It can be any sort of Link monster. Grants it the protection. And you're right, this card's totally fine. I was just messing.